what a beautiful drive all the way down to Girona, taking in all the stunning Italian scenery. Just gorgeous. Needing to be at the port 5 hours before departure, we decided to stop overnight at the service station just before the port, so we meant we could be there nice and bright and early. And we thought we were big. Look at this Overlander. It is enormous. This Overlander's from Austria, and he's obviously got a vehicle in the back, so they've stopped him in front of us to have a look, and going to ask him to open the garage to check the vehicle out. Yeah, as we thought, he's got a huge quad bike in there. Wow, that is enormous. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at the stuff on these. These are all little dinghies, aren't they? Well, hello, good morning. What a morning it is. We're here at Girona Port, waiting to board the ferry over to Morocco. We've come to the end of our European tour. We've done 14 countries, which has been fantastic, but 90 days runs out tomorrow. So we're heading over to Morocco. We're going to winter in Morocco, do a lot of exploring around, which is going to be absolutely wonderful. And then early next year, we travel on down into Africa. So thank you everybody for your lovely comments and being in contact, and hope you've enjoyed the European videos. And we'll see you when we land in the African side. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye. Now this is what you call packing and loading. Look at these. Oh my God, at the front of the queue to go on to the boat to Morocco. Amazing. I hate to think what the laden weight on some of these are. Bicycles galore on that one. It's a little Overlander. And there's leopard, packed in, waiting to go and get loaded up. Everything having to be reversed in. It's a nightmare. It's fun. Well, there's a couple of other Overlanders on board, and just a couple parked behind us, and Peter's is the one right behind us, and he's heading over to Sierra Leone. He's been having it built in Germany, and he's driving it back, and we're hoping to catch him later on in our African travels. Well, there we go. Leaving Genoa, bye-bye Europe, won't be there for a while now, and here we are on our new adventure off to Africa. Look at some of these. They are incredible, huge yachts, Sunseekers, etc. And there's the little pilot boat. He's going to be seeing us out of the waters and off to sea. Here we go, we're on our own. So we're on the ferry going over to Morocco from Genoa, and it's a 2-day ferry, so we've booked a cabin. It wasn't much more, but this is what we got. A little 2-berth cabin, very comfortable, very comfy beds actually. This will do just perfect, and you do get your own little bathroom with a shower, so as ferries go, this will do nicely. Thank you very much. At storm break, we go up on the top deck to watch as we're coming into the port in Barcelona. So there'll be a number disembarking and another coming on board. But what a beautiful morning. Oh, and here's the Monza branch of the Angels. They were such a nice bunch of guys. So sweet. Great on their bikes. It's a beautiful sight of Barcelona this morning, the palm trees just glinting in the morning light. That tanker's on the move.
Lovely British couple we met, who've been cycling, and now they're going to cycle to Bilbao. Bless them, they're so sweet, weren't they?
Lovely couple, yeah.
And there's a little Overlander.
Ah, there's Harold. Spent a lot of time chatting with him. He gave us lots of information because he goes to Morocco most winters, and he's stopping off at Barcelona because he's going paragliding, because inside there was not just a quad bike but a huge paragliding equipment. He spent a wonderful couple of days with Peter. He's got his Overlander on board heading down to Sierra Leone. Lots of fun, lots of giggles and a lot to eat. Well, that was easy, getting through customs. Straight through. We thought we might be x-rayed, but we weren't allowed to just go straight through. Carnet was stamped, and so next stop is just to get some SIM cards and exchange some money. We park up next to the rest of the big guys, and there's some little kiosks where you can change some money very quickly, get some SIM cards, and before you know it, you're off on the road. Time for us to fuel up. We held off filling her up before leaving Italy because the prices in Morocco make such a difference, especially when you have a 1,000-litre tank on board. Silla is a fortified town on the northwest tip of the Atlantic coast of Morocco. It's about 30 kilometres south of Tangiers, and it has ramparts and gates which remain fully intact. Its history dates back to 1500 BC, and it was originally constructed by the Idris dynasty. The old walled town of Silla is well preserved and dates mostly from the Portuguese occupation in the 15th and 16th century. Though the Portuguese rebuilt its outline of walls, it has the typical maze-like layout and alleys of an old Moroccan city. The Medina has been heavily restored, and its buildings are typically painted white with occasionally blue and green, in addition to which can be found the many of the murals created during the International Cultural Festival. The International Cultural Festival, held in August, features jazz and Moroccan music as well as art exhibition. The festival is also the occasion for mural paintings, in which the Medina's houses are painted with new murals every year. Due to its proximity to Spain, the cuisine in Sicily is described as sort of Ibero-Moroccan, with notable delicacies including paella, anchovies and other seafood, with both Moroccan and Valencian flavour influences. It's a beautiful drive up to the mountain town of Chefchaouen. Can't wait, because this is going to be incredible. It's known as the Blue Pearl. It's pleasurable travelling around Morocco, the easiness of the longer drives between areas, as they have a great road system. The main roads when taken are of really good quality. Of course, when you go in the mountains and deserts, etc., it's a little bit different, as we expected. But for the main routes, they're really good. We saw this Austrian cyclist Rob on the mountain. Little did we know we'd meet up with him again later and he'd spend the evening with us up at the top. Chefchaouen is a city in the Rift Mountains of northwest Morocco. It's known for its striking blue-wash buildings of its old town. As we're parked up high, looking down on the beautiful town of Chefchaouen, it's a walk down the steep pass and on into town. And into the blue of the Blue Pearl. It's all blue. In every direction there's more blue. Dark blue, light blue, vibrant blue, dull blue. As the light shifts throughout the day, the blue glow changes and you look at the alleys afresh. With the freshness, the colour makes everything feel so crisp and clean. Why is it blue? Well, the most popular theory is that after World War II, when the Jewish community in the area grew as people fled Nazi persecution, the city was painted blue as a religious practice to represent the colour of the sky, connect the city to heaven and God. Bakeries, leather and weaving shops line its steep covered lanes, and in the shady main square of Place Alta El Haman is the Red Kasbah, a 15th century fortress and dungeon.
That's the shop. I think we just bought the shop.
This place is a welcome break from the larger cities of Morocco like Fez and Marrakesh. The streets aren't large, they're not full of shops, the crowds aren't thick and there's less mania to the atmosphere. It's one of the reasons it's become a favourite stop along the tourist trail for decades, with this wonderful and relaxing atmosphere where lack of sights are actually part of its charm. The scenery as you drive is ever changing in colour and texture. It's never boring to watch out of the window as you travel and watch the painting change. We found a great park up just outside of Fez and met again with the normal Moroccan warm hospitality. And there we met friends again. The old German tour bus was there. That was lovely to see. And a young English guy called Jordan who'd be driving this lorry for a company called Madventure all the way down to South Africa. He was in Fez waiting for his colleague Chloe to arrive and the passengers in a few days, so Mark helped him do a few jobs on the lorry that required, and we had great fun in the evenings with him joining us for dinner and to watch the Rugby World Cup. And after all that hard work, it was time to play. We had such fun time with the guys exploring Fez and its beautiful medinas. The colours, sounds, smells, a wonderful sensory overload. This is the Palace de Herbs, which is the women's cooperative where they make all the spices and scents, incense. Beautiful smell. Chouara Tannery is the oldest tannery in the city and the largest, and it's been in operation since the 16th century. The scene viewed from the surrounding balconies remains remarkably medieval, with the pits awash of coloured dye and men with their feet pushing the hides through the dye. Just remarkable. You probably won't find a better selection of leather in Morocco, and the prices are very negotiable. The leather shops are in league with the tannery workers, and many of the salesmen are relatives to those doing the half graft within the tanneries. Zellige is a Moorish art form that features heavily in Moroccan architecture. And they are all by hand. The tiles are cut by hand. There's 20,000 pieces in one of those. Roman history has always been a real interest to both of us. To search out the incredible volubilis, a partly excavated Berber Roman city, was a must for us to go and see. We felt so lucky to find Abdul's little olive grove, where we parked alongside, carefully guided in by the man himself, and there we enjoyed such a special couple of days. In the morning we shared breakfast with Abdul, had coffees, bread, olive oil, dates. So wonderful, he was so generous, wanted to share what little he had with us. It's spending time with people like Abdul, the real and lovely Moroccans, that make this trip so special. There we are. Parked up there for the light.
You still live off the
And there's olive oil. Yeah, and he's just about to head off and go and get us some olive oil, fresh olive oil. And he's given us coffee and fresh dates. So gorgeous. The ruins were about a 15-minute walk from where we were parked. It was quite magical watching them emerge from the horizon as we walked towards them. The Roman Empire once stretched as far as Morocco, and you can see the remains of the most southern outpost in the ruins of Volubilis. There'd been a community here at Volubilis from the 3rd century in what was then the Mauritanian kingdom. It was a small settlement but an important one, with a defensive wall protecting about 12 hectares. In 40 AD, the Romans annexed this part of the country, and Volubilis was made a city, and then later named as the capital of a province called Mauritania Tinglatana. This is what would be the main road, and properties coming off it, and there's an amazing grinding wheel. The houses of the residents show many of them were clearly wealthy from producing olive oil and selling crops from around the area. They were fine structures, and many with large mosaic floors with so much detail still showing today. So these were the thermal baths, where Mark's just walking away from there. Above it is where the fires were. And these are the channels where the hot water came into the thermals. Just behind where that hole is where the swimming pool was. And then these were the cool pools. These are the shops along here. And these grooves are where we just heard and found out that that's where the doors, like roller doors, would come down. In 168, during the reign of Marcus Aurelius, a town wall was built about 2.5 kilometres long and with 40 towers and 8 beautiful monumental gates. There was a basilica, a temple and even a triumphal arch, maybe not rivalling the one we know in Paris these days, but very impressive for its time. This is one grand house. It is enormous. There's its entrances, and it was built in around 238 AD. The Romans only stayed until about 285 when they left abruptly, probably because it was getting too difficult to defend the city against the local tribes, who continued then to live on the site for many centuries after that. When we got back to Leopard that evening, Abdul, having pedalled to a local town to pick up fresh vegetables, had cooked for us the most incredible vegetarian tagines for supper. It was so delicious. Abdul's home is the little stone room opposite where we're parked, just a bed on the floor and no running water. So that evening we spent the most wonderful time walking up into mountain village above to help collect water for him. Up in the village we come to the tap. It's been there since the Roman times and collects spring water from the mountains. It's been rebuilt in the 1300s and there's a lovely plaque which shows it, but it's beautiful and ornate and the whole village use it for the water supply. Children were washing their hands and feet before they were going into the little mosque, and it's for drinking and cooking. On our way back down, we sat and watched the most beautiful sun setting over the mountains and thought, what an incredible few days. Perfect in every way. During the months we spent in Morocco, some of the most unforgettable images were spent just travelling around the country, watching the diverse and ever-changing scenery with each kilometre travelled, and the incredible multiple forms of horsepower transport seen, every shape and form on the road. Travelling across the country allowed us to savour the different cities too, each one beautiful and different from each other. Some, like Rabat, calm and serene, being the royal capital city with beautiful palaces and numerous beautiful green parks. We discovered that Medina Rabat is a lot more relaxed than in Fez and Marrakesh. The vendors of the Rabat Medina are not typically aggressive and prices are always negotiable. But understand that apart from the 2 or 3 block radius that is more the touristy area, locals shop in the Medina just as much, if not more than tourists, which in turn becomes its charm and gives it the serene atmosphere. The Kasbah of Udaya is an ancient and historic part of Rabat city, situated atop a cliff with magnificent views of the Bouragregs River and Atlantic Ocean. This fortified citadel was once the home to Arab tribes, Andalusian immigrants and powerful Moroccan sultans since the 12th century. Today it serves as a picturesque residential area with narrow streets that are perfect for strolling through. In the Kasbah lies a green place where peace and tranquility reigns, and with flowers of all types and a charm that can't be matched in the gardens of Andalusia as they're known. You can wander through the Andalusian gardens, up through the blue painted walls and enjoy tea beneath the shade at the Café Udaya. There's a long stretch of beach of the Rabat beach which starts behind the Medina and down the hill from the Kasbah. Casablanca, or as known in Arabic, Dar al-Baida, is the largest city in Morocco and the country's economic and business centre, located on the Atlantic coast on the central western part of Morocco. A beautiful and busy city full of hustle and bustle, but the absolute highlight for us was the Hassan II Mosque. This opulent mosque is set on an outcrop jutting over the ocean, and with a 210-metre tall minaret, it's a city landmark. Its dramatic location echoes verse from the Quran, which said that God's throne was built upon the water. It really is a showcase of the finest Moroccan artisanship, hand-carved stone and wood, intricate marble flooring and inlays, gilded cedar ceilings and exquisite mosaic tilework all around. The roof is retractable, illuminating the hall with daytime starlight and allowing worshippers to pray under the stars on clear nights. One of the largest mosques in Africa, it can hold 105,000 worshippers, 25 inside and the rest on the outside courtyards. Designed by French architect Michael Pinceau, it only took 6 years to build and was completed in 1993. It's one of 2 Moroccan mosques that's open to non-Muslims, and there are guided tours in all languages around the prayer times. You just need to check because, of course, through the seasons, the prayer times change slightly as sunrise and sunsets change. Well, I read an article in the Sunday Times a couple of days before we arrived in Casablanca about an up-and-coming restaurant there called Nakoa. It was meant to be exceptional. So while we were there, we thought, why not treat us? Well, if you happen to be in Casablanca, try it. We think we found the first Michelin restaurant. The food was divine. We're not foodie photographers, but this was tremendous. It's amazing as you drive along to see the land, much that we would discard as unusable, as the Moroccans clearing the stone, building walls with the stone they collect, and over years making each piece of little land useful and agricultural. It's positioned on the Atlantic coast, roughly halfway down the Moroccan coast, around 3.5 hours north of Marrakesh and 2 hours south of Casablanca, so a perfect location between the two if you want to stop off en route. It's a sleepy little town, which is the perfect description of happy and tranquil living, with a really outstanding coastal lagoon and very picturesque, perfect for this area of North Africa. Walidia is known for its delicious seafood, namely oysters. Local producers have been shellfish farming here since the 1950s, and they produce about 200 tonnes of oysters every year. And if you don't want to buy oysters, well, there are some cracking fresh fish restaurants throughout the little town. The little boat taxi is busy backwards and forwards across the lagoon of Walidia, so for just a few pence you can take yourself across to the other side. Wherever you are in Morocco, you'll always find along the street vendors cooking the tagines, and they really are the best tagines. Definitely worth stopping for one. And at the end of the day, what better? Sit on the beach and watch the sun go down. It's wonderful colours, isn't it? Once known as the Port of Timbuktu, Aswari was established in the mid-18th century on a site of a 16th century Portuguese fortress. It quickly became a major trading post between Africa and Europe. Perched on the Moroccan Atlantic coast and being very picturesque, it was used for filming of Game of Thrones. It has a lovely relaxed bohemian feel to it and quite intimate, so it's not quite as busy and bustly as some of the other ones, say Marrakesh and Fez. The pretty fishing port was built in 1769 and designed by an Englishman who converted from Christianity to Islam and was nicknamed Ahmed the Renegade. You can see the fishermen selling their daily catch of sardines, calamari, all types of fish. Lovely to buy, nice and fresh from there. And the smell of it being freshly cooked, very nice for a little snack. What an amazing first 6 weeks we've had into the cities, up and down the coastlines, taste the colours, the smells, the vibrancy of this country is phenomenal, and the people are incredible. They are so warm, so friendly, so kind. Just everything's done with a great big smile. So we hope you've enjoyed just a few highlights of our trip so far. There's been so much. We could be on here for hours, and that's not where we're trying to highlight the country. So if you come to Morocco, hopefully it's inspired you to see a few of these places too. In the next episode, we head to Marrakesh, catch up with some friends, and then we're off up into the Atlas Mountains and the desert. There is so much to see there, away from the hustle bustle of the cities, but to see the real Morocco. So we hope you'll join us for that one, because it's going to be such fun.